Well, I mean, I think we were harsh on Albino, but
You weren't even there.
the view is pretty silly. And so, silly views sometimes deserve a little bit of humiliation.
Yeah, I agree, but why isn't that a person who is willing to talk about their silly views and know you guys for this long,
Yeah.
who also, like I said before, he's like Switzerland. Whenever there's beefing going on, he's always very neutral towards the Tom Rabbit people or whatever you want to call yourselves. So it's
Nobody calls themselves Tom Rabbit people. You do.
I don't know if you heard what I fucking said. Okay, I said or whatever you call yourselves.
I know.
Do you understand fucking words? All of you.
I'm clarifying. Nobody calls themselves rabbit people.
That's like a non sequitur. Complete non sequitur. Anyway.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if you understand. I said the Tom Rabbit people or whatever you want to call yourselves. I think there's a difference between those two things. Yeah.
I
Okay.
know.
Thanks, JK. How about you? No, you're not gonna keep. You're gonna keep interrupting me.
I'm
Yeah. No.
elaborating.
What are we doing here? Okay.
That you can throw out the ones that call themselves Tom Rabbit people.
I didn't say anybody called themselves that.
Oh my God.
Do you understand?
Yeah, but the way that you
No, the way I said it doesn't imply that anybody calls themselves that. You're just a moron.
Actually.
It doesn't at all, actually. It doesn't at all.
Or whatever.
If I say the Tom people or whatever you call yourselves means there's a difference between what you call yourselves and what I said in the first discussion. Fucking idiot.
Right. It accounts for whatever you call yourselves, including Tom Rabbit people.
Okay. Just stop talking before you hurt yourself.
That's clear to everybody.
Okay. Sit down, JJ.
I'm here.
Yeah, sit down, mute up. I'm going to talk to Jason. Okay, you can talk.
No, I'm listening.
Okay, listen with your mic muted.
I've already said, you're right on a lot of these accounts. Albedo is like Switzerland. Albedo is a nice person. Albedo is very sincere. But on the same hand, this view seems pretty crazy. And, I don't understand, maybe we were a little harsh on him, but it is a pretty crazy view. And, I'm not sure why there's so
what
much
part of it is
pushback.
crazy? It's if somebody, again, somebody's is it crazy? Is this part of it crazy? Is it crazy that somebody is seeking God and they think they're approaching a belief in God and looking for it? Is that crazy by itself? No. Okay. So he's in that state, okay, and he's praying to God and he's praying for signs because he wants to believe and he's seeking it and whatever. And then this thing that at least by his life, for all he was aware of at the time, right? Now maybe there is some weird thing going on in the background, right? But for what he was aware of at the time, this crazy, improbable thing happens to him. And he's somehow he's making associations between that and he's seeing sort of some weird religious coincidences in it. Okay? And it's okay, yeah, if all that's the case for this guy, and that pushes him towards theism, that makes sense for that guy, right? So in that sense, it's not that crazy, right?
So it makes sense. Wait a minute. I do think it's crazy. You're just saying it's not crazy for the person who has crazy views.
We went through and said what the views were, and you didn't say any of them were crazy, right? You agreed that it's not crazy to be seeking. I mean, in the middle of talking, it's not crazy to be seeking God or whatever. You said that, and then I assume you don't think it's crazy that he thought the odds were what they were at the time, right? I mean, we looked into this, and as far as the publicly available data goes, You're saying nothing that I used to make the inference was crazy, and then you said, oh, so yeah, somebody could believe something if they had other crazy views. Like, what are the crazy views then?
Yeah, so if a person has a view that the probability of them winning something somehow it provides them ample evidence that they now believe in God. And somebody that I know is not.
It's not the whole basis of his entire.
Okay, you know what?
It's not all of his evidence.
Okay, how about like I'll let you talk and then you let me talk. All right, I'll shut up. Go ahead.
No, go on. But like you said it as if like he was a complete agnostic, and then this happened, and then he came to believe in God. Right? That's.
Okay, well, in the room that when we just talked to him, JJ even asked him that was there like this other evidence that plus this led to you believing in God? And he said no, it was the Yeezys. Like, he may have been agnostic, but it's this experience with the Yeezys that made him believe. So it's not like this is like it's like this plus like 20 other things. It's this thing. You gotta ask about that.
I think that it's this thing that tipped him over the edge. Right.
Well, I'm just responding to what Albedo said. JJ's here. Maybe I actually asked him that question.
Okay, I don't. Jesus Christ. Is this really that complicated? You think he was at like 50-50 on whether God existed, and then this happened, and then he just went to full theism immediately.
Yeah, okay, so do you think it's more reasonable that when he says, I won the shoes 7 times in a row, the shoes that like I get for a raffle that I have to pay up front, and I got paid for the shoes, and
no, you don't pay up front. See, I don't know if you were listening. He said you sign up to pay, basically, right? You have to show that you're going to him.
You actually prepay.
What happens if you don't get the shoes? Do you get your money back?
Yeah, after 14 days you get the money back. Yeah.
And is it the whole payment?
I'm imagining you probably get all the money back.
No, I'm saying you pay the full price. Like,
yeah, you pay the full price. Yeah, you pay, yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I'm just saying that, like, all this discussion of what are the odds of this, and what kind of shoes are they, and, like, it's 1 out of 1,500 to win this, etc., all just seem to be, like, you guys are trying to make an argument that it's so unlikely, therefore,
you just looked it up.
Wait a minute.
That's all we did.
Okay, yeah, you looked it up. So, on one side is the accuracy of that, and on the other side is God. And so I'm saying you could just be fucking wrong. The information you're looking at is wrong. It could be that Adidas didn't fucking do any of that bullshit, and that they were actually, it's like 90% chance. That's more likely than what we are saying, that it was like 1 in a billion chance, therefore this is like some credible credence towards God. I think it's more likely these other things. It's not some fucking like Powerball where everything is like regulated. It's some company that's trying to fucking sell their shit that they've already explained is like their one of the strategies.
Jason, calm the fuck down, man. Just calm the fuck down. He could just as easily have been a really improbable thing. He could have given that, and you know what? I would say that it would be a stupid argument for God. It would be a stupid argument for God.
So you agree?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, obviously, I said that like 10 times.
We agree then.
Yeah, we agree. But yeah, what we disagree about is the way you treated Albedo. What do you think I've been saying this?
Okay, fine. All right, fine.
Well, keep in mind. Fucking wild. It doesn't happen.
No, fuck off, Sully. Don't be like fucking wild. Like now you're just.
Yeah, it's fucking wild. It's like you're trying to have the debate.
I'm not trying to debate with you. Look, you agree with me that it's a fucking stupid ass way of looking at this. What you just take umbrage with is that people said, wow, this is a fucking stupid ass way of looking at it to Albedo himself.
I think you treated Albedo like shit. I think you treated Albedo like shit. So obviously, I think you could talk to him about this. You know,
I don't think we treated him like anything. I don't think Jason treated him like anything. Jason, did
Okay.
you talk to him?
Yeah, I did, but like I don't think I.
You guys like never take any fucking responsibility for anything you do.
You guys. Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, you guys. Yeah, you two and basically everybody else that orchestrates those kinds of shit shows and then posts people on YouTube who are nice to you. These people are nice to you.
Who organized what? Sorry, Jason.
That's fine. I'm
I
sorry.
don't know what you're talking about. Albedo came in, want to talk about some arguments. They said 3 arguments. Want to start with the least controversial one.
In the fucking video, he is voicing his discomfort with being mocked and ridiculed and laughed at, and he says, "Oh, you're like pandering to an audience right now, right? Like you're playing it up for the audience when he's talking, right? He's going in there trying to have a normal fucking conversation with you guys. It's crazy. Like you guys are just really assholes."
Which we did. Well, I mean, I wasn't an asshole to him. I laughed.
Oh
at
my
him.
god.
And
Oh my god. Yeah, you take. Okay, I get it. You take no responsibility for
say-
anything. Okay, I get it. You can be a child. I'll treat you like a child. You're an innocent little child.
What am I not taking responsibility for? Sounds to me like I am taking responsibility for laughing at him. I told you why, and I told him that I felt bad I felt like I shouldn't be. I feel bad about it. I don't know.
You should feel bad.
Video.
You should feel bad.
I know. That's why I told him.
It doesn't seem you don't have the affectation of a person who feels bad. You seem like you don't actually feel bad.
I don't think you understand what personality is. But,
Right.
like
Like the kind of thing if a person couldn't think of anything witty to say would say.
Once you felt
What? What does that mean? What did you ask me 2 seconds ago? I'm not listening to anything happening in the car.
it's more of a why are you saying that? Go ahead.
Once you felt bad, by the way, welcome, Auntie Jovan. Good to see you, sir. But when you started to feel bad, JJ, did you and all of the miscreant bullies, did you guys rally to get Tom to not post the video or to take it down?
I didn't have any control of that. I didn't know.
They all love it and are in favor of it and listen to it in the room after it was posted. They're all cheering and then they're like, you know, when you push back on it, Adam, I'm not associated with this. This has nothing to do with. No, I'm not in the video or.
Fucking dumb.
No one knew Tom was making a video until 10 minutes before he posted it.
Oh my god.
What is he talking about?
I do agree. It's a dumb view. I don't know why you're fucking pushing back.
Okay, you do because I already explained that nothing I'm saying has anything to do with whether I think it's a dumb view.
Right.
In fact, I already sort of told you that's not even close to what we've been talking about here. I've been saying that you guys mistreated Almeida. Right? I don't understand that. I already told you I think it's a
But wait a second. Let's just get clarity. Like, how?
By laughing at him?
Yeah. How do we mistreat
That's right.
it? Just go ahead with that.
I'm sorry, do you guys like have fucking ears? You have ears, I've explained it 6 times.
Can you answer the question?
I think it.
Jason, do you think if I do it one more time and then you ask me again that I'm obligated to answer you? Hey, will I be obligated to fucking answer you if you ask me again after I explain it
It
again?
depends on if you are clear this time.
I already answered it. You understand? That's why I'm not doing it again.
Clear or something.
The idea is Albedo is generally very deferent to all you guys. He shows deference to all you guys. And he came in very non-hostile, non-combative. He's not in it for blood sport. He was just in there to try to talk to you guys, be reasonable, or, you know, have a conversation, hang out. And it turned into kind of like a schoolyard bullying of all of you guys, mocking and laughing at him. I think that's what Sully's saying. I kind of got that vibe too. You know, I mean, he didn't fight you guys. It's like he's not even punching you. He's not calling you names. He's not doing anything. You guys are just like literally like, you're an idiot. You're an effing idiot, Albedo. That's the kind of vibe.
Yeah, everybody told him that.
Okay. All right. And Tom is, you got to keep in mind, Tom is extremely cynical. Like, he's extremely denigrating. And I think you guys kind of.
Are you just talking about Tom?
No, I'm saying you guys are we're part of the vibe. I think that's what Sully's saying.
What are the vibe?
Yeah, the vibe of bullying Albedo.
Listen, I heard. You're just talking about Tom at this point, and I was
No,
there.
I'm not. No, I'm not.
You know you are. Oh, you are.
Listen to what I just
You are just talking about Tom.
Tom is a consistent, listen to what I'm telling you.
And I told him.
Tom is a consistent.
And I think others told him.
Wait,
He was a little harsh.
Tom is consistently cynical, and he's over the top on a lot of this stuff.
Well,
You guys kind of fed off the vibe at this time, is what I'm saying. And I'm saying, I think Albedo's just not the person. Like, he doesn't seem like he's the person, at least not this occurrence, certainly. That it should have been like, hey, you know, like he's just laying down, feeling kind of humiliated or whatever, and you guys are just like kicking him and laughing at it. That's kind of how it felt. But whatever. I mean, I'm not, you know, whatever. I don't know where to go from there. I just tell you guys that's what I think Sully's saying, and I think I see that too. I think Albedo is like generally cool to everybody over there, so I don't know. Anyway.
Well, I wasn't mean to him. I didn't call him a fucking idiot. I told him I felt bad laughing. Told you why I was laughing. To me, mean implies, malicious intent, which of course I didn't have. I'm not gonna speak for you guys or anybody else but myself. That's taking accountability, Sully.
I mean, multiple times I was like, I was trying to appeal to Albedo's sensibilities because I was like, Albedo, come on, let's look at this reasonably. Like, do you think it's reasonable to have a view that, like, the fact that this is so improbable means that, like, it's supernatural? And he was like, Jason, provide me with the evidence. What's the evidence that you have that, like, you know, Adidas modified the raffle? I'm just like, look, even if I don't have evidence, it just seems like probably be more plausible than what you're suggesting. And so I think it was trying to appeal to that. And was I laughing? Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have laughed. So I agree with that. I probably could have not been like so harsh with that. And I agree, Albedo is a nice guy. And I DM'd him afterwards and was like, I'm sorry we were so harsh. You know, I understand he felt.
And you guys like clearly are like excited that Tom posted it. And you're like, no, you was just, I just wanted to say, okay, yeah, we're gonna blast out this like,
It's
that
pretty
you
fun.
guys apparently agreed, sorry, you guys apparently agreed that you feel bad about.
Yeah, you guys. You guys.
You know how, I don't know, you are just so bad at fucking tracking. Do you know how you get grouped in? Do you know how you get grouped in? I just fucking said this.
By proximity?
You're happy about the video game.
When did I say that?
You wanted to be, oh my god, Jay, you're so fucking stupid. That is funny. Okay, do you have any objection to the video being posted?
Yep.
Oh, you do.
Should I go twist Tom's arm?
You're not going to be able to do anything, right?
Oh,
Because you have no influence or pull.
there you go.
You can at least say what you think, which is that he shouldn't have posted the video.
I wouldn't have posted it.
He shouldn't have posted it, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And I think we agree. You guys feel bad as you should, and the video shouldn't have been posted. So I think we agree.
I didn't say that. I didn't say you shouldn't post a video.
Okay. So then the latter half of my critique still applies to you then.
But feel free to apply one person to the person's behavior to you guys all you want.
Okay. Why don't you try not to be a part of shit like that again?
Try not to what?
Try not to be a part of it next time.
Well, whatever. Be a part of listening to his argument and laughing at it. I don't think I can be held accountable for laughing. It was.
Oh, you felt bad. Do we not feel bad anymore?
I do. No, I still feel bad. But
Gotcha.
it's not going to stop me from
You
talking
feel
about
bad.
it.
Why don't you try not to do things in the future that you'll feel bad for?
Some things you can't control. Finding something so ridiculous that it makes you laugh is one of those things, I think. I don't know if you listened to that. I was kind of wish you were there at the time. I think somebody might have pinged you even. After learning that he didn't just win them for free, he just won the opportunity to pay for them, I bought it. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, but whatever. It's like if the odds of that are extremely low, it doesn't really matter, right? Because the point is that like people are showing they're willing to pay for them, you know, but not everybody can get a bear.
Yeah, I mean the number I heard was if it occurred when it's most likely to have occurred.
Like, look, I gotta switch to
His chance of winning was 70%.
But I was still. No, I know. No. Again, that was a different time. After Jay was in the other room when we were talking about it without.
Well, last night or whatever, he said he didn't know for sure, and then he threw out a number, which is very close to when that is. So the odds are much worse if it was before. Granted, I think it's more likely that he won when the odds were 70%.
Well, when it happened, it's probably something we could like confirm. I'm sure he has like some kind of.
I think he said he had the receipt, and I'm curious.
Or like an email or something. Yeah.
Yep. He's got some kind of receipt. He said he did. Or that he could find it, but I didn't. I haven't heard since. Which is why I wondered when you were doing your calculations if you had that information, but I didn't hear that.
He said, well, they were going off the time that he told. There was multiple people again who were like looking for stats, and they were going off the time period that he had just said, like in I think 2022 or something, right? So they were looking, okay, at this time, what were the odds in these consoles?
I think he said something about you could find the replay when he was talking about it the first time.
Maybe. I mean, these are all interesting questions, and you guys could have had a nice sort of back and forth with Albedo. And obviously you could think he's silly. I think he's silly. And a lot of times I think he's silly. But it's like, I can have conversations with Albedo where I give him pushback. And I even, say that things he's saying are silly or ridiculous. And I say that to his face. Okay? But I don't get in a little circle with a group of people and start pointing and laughing, going, haha, hee hee, And he's calling it in the conversation that Tom is doing it performatively for an audience. It's not as if you guys couldn't have been clued in to what Tom was doing. I don't think you're that fucking naive.
Oh, and no one knew he was making a video. No one did. Like I said,
okay, there's always the possibility of a video, Bill. What are you talking about?
I'm just reassured.
I can honestly tell you that it didn't cross my mind when I was listening to it, or in a minute, I was surprised when he told me 10 minutes before I went live.
Okay,
but he and I you guys push back.
Look, if people are giving him pushback on it, I think that's deserved. Okay, but Jason or Mr. Jason Ford over here is oh, I think you should have fuck out,
Well, it's not ridiculous for somebody who doesn't like Albedo, apparently.
Why doesn't he like Albedo? What is something Albedo?
I don't know. I don't even know if he said that. I'm just saying that it wouldn't be weird for somebody who didn't like him. But I love Albedo, and I'm just reassured that you don't sit around in a circle and point and laugh at people.
Yeah, I mean, it's the least I can do.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, sorry. For some reason, my shit was not working. I don't know if you heard what I was saying, but I was saying, look, when it was going on, I had no doubt that that was going to get recorded, and I was thinking, this is probably going to get put online. And I don't know, like, Albino has to know, like, he's going to talk about this shit. It's a really quacky deal. It's probably going to get recorded, put online. So, that's
Yeah, but the nature of the conversation that gets recorded doesn't have to be that kind of fucking conversation.
It wasn't out of context. They recorded the
What do you mean out of context? I'm saying if you guys had like a normal, like fairly like polite conversation with him about it, right? It probably wouldn't even have any interest in posting it online. There would be more or something like that. I doubt Tom would post it. It was just a normal conversation with Albedo, you know. So it's obviously the way that the interaction went is what explains it being posted to you. Like, I don't know. It's like you guys again just don't want to take fucking any accountability. Why?
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think the accountability is that the view is pretty crazy, and even you acknowledge it's a crazy view.
You are like a broken fucking record, Jason.
You just
It's a non sequitur. Look, it's a non sequitur. I agree that he was crazy. You still treated him like shit. Like, are you fucking stupid?
Okay, so I think we were harsh, but when you say treated him like shit, I'm not sure.
Yeah,
if that's
you did. You treated him like shit. Exactly.
Okay, well then we can fucking disagree with that.
Okay.
Yeah, I disagree with that.
You said,
I
okay,
think it's crazy.
again, then you said you felt bad about it.
What did we do?
Right,
It was like-
You guys get both said, you're like, yeah, I feel bad about how Vito was treated, but he wasn't treated like shit.
We were
No, I didn't say that. I said I felt bad about laughing. And that I felt bad if it made him feel bad, but the intent was not malicious.
Yes, when you make
That's
people
what I
feel
said.
bad, you were treating them like shit.
Oh, well, you heard it here
Treating people like
first.
shit, making them feel bad.
I'll give you an example, like at the very end of the conversation, which was probably overboard.
Some people deserve to be treated like shit, JJ. Albedo isn't one of them, just to be clear.
I don't agree that he was treated like shit by me.
Okay, then, oh my god, you fucking people are so stupid. Why did you feel bad then?
We're laughing.
You said you felt bad because you made him feel bad, right?
Huh?
Okay, when you make somebody feel bad, JJ, right?
Could you
You were
stop
treating them like shit.
Could you stop treating me like shit, please?
Okay, again, the tracking, it needs to improve.
No,
Some people deserve
please
it.
stop treating
Albedo's not one of them.
Please stop treating me like shit.
Yeah, you don't know how to listen, man. Unbelievable. Literal 3-year-old.
Literal.
Literally.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay. So we treated him like shit. And what's the example of treating him like
Oh
shit?
my god, Jason. When this room is fun, go back and listen to the replay where I explained this to you multiple times.
Okay, fine.
Laughing at somebody who's treating them like shit.
You guys just do this loop where you say the same non sequitur and then repeat the same question. It's getting a little bit fucking stale and boring now, so I think we can move on.
Okay, don't answer it.
Yeah. I did answer it already, right? So this is the second time I'm saying this now. I'm not answering it again because I already answered it.
I'm a
Jason.
dumbass.
And this is the second time I'm saying this now.
I'm a dumbass.
Okay.
I don't remember.
I know. This is why I said you guys should retreat to being complete dumbasses who can't track conversation, right? And you internalize your own cringe, buddy. You really did.
Oh, okay.
No, you're just trying to know. You're not. You've heard me explain this 6 fucking times. Andrew explained it to you, and then you just keep asking the same question.
Makes you look bad. I'm saying what you said. You just can't tell me one fucking thing. So
What do you mean you can't do it? I answered that question multiple times, Jason.
I don't remember.
Then you're a fucking idiot who needs to get a better memory.
So you can't tell me again?
Oh my god. You need to learn how to listen to what people are saying to you. I'm not going to tell you
Okay,
again.
this looks like
You can wait until this room ends if you're so fucking curious, and you can listen to me explain it to you multiple times before then.
Don't tell me then.
I already told you.
Oh, yeah, okay, fine.
It's like, this is just like weaponized idiocy. Like they
I
kind
know.
of drive
I am aware.
just like Jason Thorne, like, you know, he goes into his university to do like weather bullshit.
Yeah.
And that's where Peter and Sonic is a friend. I'm like, in these conversations, like, oh, where am I? Ah, what did I do? What did you say? Where is anybody?
Thanks. Great response. That was really good.
What am I responding to? You're just saying you're like a retard who can't remember what happened 5 minutes ago.
Okay. Well, maybe I am. I'm just asking Sully.
Yeah, maybe you are.
Yeah, maybe I am. But Sully can't tell me
You're
what.
gonna forget
I'm not
in 5
talking to
minutes.
you. I'm not talking.
You're gonna forget in 5 minutes.
He refuses to repeat himself for the 6th time. So he's refusing to repeat himself for the 6th time. He's just refusing. What a dishonest asshole. He's refusing to repeat.
Jason, now say we're debate broing and we're triggered. Go ahead. Jason, say the line, please. Jason, hello? Debate growing, hello? Alright.
Anyway, slapping you all around has been fun. But Andrew, if you want to move on, probably.
And you know, this like weaponized idiocy tactic is just like what really gets rewarded in their community. Where just like you say obviously false things and you get rewarded for clapping along. Get the fuck out of here, Bill. You idiot.
I don't know what that means, right?
Rank.
Is Andrew there?
And dude. Oh, also, like, Katie cheated on her husband with Venus and Daniel Nero. I just wanted to say that. You should probably watch the video to know, like watch more of it than what I heard Andrew play.
into nursing homes. Then, as you admitted this week, you personally altered the state health department report to undercount the death total, to hide the death total, and then evaded and lied to these families for 5 years. So tonight, will you finally apologize to Peter and other creepy New Yorkers, or will you just keep gaslighting them with blather about what a great job you claim you did?
Maybe where you come from in St. Louis, facts don't matter, but here they do, so let's talk about that. First of all, on nursing homes, 1.2 million people died of COVID in the United States. It's horrendous. 83,000 people died in New York.
It's acetaminophen and pomegranate, but just like with a diuretic, because it's a water thing, you gotta stay hydrated because it makes you go to the bathroom a lot.
Hey, what up, Coco? You stop selling out to the man?
Oh Lord, Coco, he wants you to fix his taxes. Just go in and delete it.
And worse, and does not give enough credit to the women and men in those nursing homes who work so hard. Mr. Albini lost the plot. I am very, very sorry for that. He brought a legal case against the state. The legal case, papers, there was no COVID positive person sent from a hospital to the nursing home while Mr. Arbini was in the nursing home. So it is factually impossible, Brad, that he got COVID from someone coming from us. Okay. Mr. Mamdani, I want to address something first, which is, you're going to ask a question or not? I'm going to ask you a question, but it's more New York than answer phone points. To hear this, to hear all this about St. Louis, we have to just make this clear. Now, all of us on the stage. Wait, what were you going to ask you a question? I'm asking you to answer call. Okay. I feel like most people would know. I knew, and you knew. We did. We both knew. We know. This stage have spoken about how Donald Trump is an existential threat to democracy, to this city, to this country. And Andrew Cuomo, you have received millions of dollars in funding from the very billionaires who put Donald Trump back into office. Will you now look at the camera and tell your super PAC to return those millions of dollars, and to your own campaign to return them close to $500,000 to ensure that this is not a race business?
Fuck. Man, it's gonna be interesting to see how this one plays out, bro. I don't know what this shit is.
Oh, man. Damn. I'm getting too many notifications. Calm the fuck down. I turn my notifications off. This shit crazy. Alright. Let me bring everybody up. My bad. Bring everybody up.
Everyone's just feeling their withdrawals.
The trending topic on Twitter right now is pray for Israel when they're the aggressor right now. That shit is crazy.
Wait, not Mr. I support Donald Trump and the Republicans bemoaning this fact.
I don't know what the two got to do together. They have to do with each other.
Hey,
Of course you know. Of course you know.
Fridays, remember when Iran sent, I think it was like 4
Bring the normal here.
and then Israel got that dome, blew all that shit out the sky, like,
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be a balance around.
Yeah, I mean, say that as if the Democratic Party ain't
Do any of these news outlets outside of the U.S.? Because I just tried to look it up outside. I'm only seeing US.
Yes, outside of the US. It says, breaking, Iranian officials tells the New York Times that Iranian fighter jets are now airborne. Oh, God.
Anybody in the Middle East, they call it New York Times.
Yeah, that's still a, what about
These are Iranian officials.
No, she said a news publication. Somebody look up Al.
Spectator, yes, the Spectator Index is is from overseas. That's good.
What about,
It's not American.
somebody look up Al Jazeera, because I'm driving.
That's what she said.
Hey, where do they get their fighter jets from? Did America, do we give them that shit?
I think we sell about, I think we sell about 40% of total weaponry. Well, I think because I looked at this during COVID, but that number may be off. Don't quote me on it. I can't confirm it, but I think it's something like that. Yeah, 40% U.S. companies. Because the Israelis are also very, skilled at weaponry, but I think it's something like U.S. companies.
Hey, man, I'm on Israel's side. Shout out to my Israelis.
Yo, you know.
We'll get their ass, Iran. We'll get their ass.
Wait, hold on, real quick. Let me do a poll. Put a gun emoji in the chat if y'all on Israel's side. Put a brain emoji in the chat if y'all on Iran's side.
Yo, what's the overall release? The biggest
outside.
Yo, wait, hold on. Y'all can't name two presidents of or prime ministers of Iran. God, beat it in the chat.
Why do we have to name them?
I'll answer your question. So the reason why I'm mostly
let Summer go. Summer said.
Oh, I'm sorry, Summer. Go ahead. I did too, but go ahead, Summer.
I'm on the side that America doesn't have to go to war for people to say that Iraq does this without the consent and the help of America is so laughable to me. This is done with American consent. This is done with American intelligence. This is done with American weaponry. And for me personally, no, I'm not going to war. How many times does America have to go to war for Israel? You do realize we went to war into Iraq for Israel too, right? Okay.
No, we went
Oh, because they had weapons of mass destruction? And who told us that?
Hold on. Listen, my name is Lou. Don't be mad at Lou, be mad at the facts, alright? We went to war. Yeah, yo, that's my new catchphrase, man. Don't be mad.
Why did we go to war?
Let me get facts, Queen, alright? First of all, we got bombed, 9/11, right? And we thought, right, mistakenly, that Iraq had weapons of mass destruction. So that's what we
that.
It was a lot of intelligence. The CIA, the Israeli, the ID. Wait, hold on. It wasn't just Israel, though. It was a bunch of intelligence groups that we worked well with. So Israel warned us about a bunch of terrorist attacks that was actually true. And then, sometimes they fuck up, right? But these are our allies, all right?
Did you read Colin Powell's book?
Yes.
Before he died?
Which one?
Yeah. The one he wrote before he died talking about 9/11.
What's the name of it?
And the intelligence.
What's the name?
I'm just asking you, did you read it?
Wait, you don't know the name?
You asked them to read it, you read it. They will look for your name.
Okay, what's the right? Are y'all following her? What about that?
No, but look, we knew they didn't have weapons of mass destruction.
Summer, what about the book?
Oh, Dean, you're gonna start whining again to talk? Jesus.
She's in mid-sentence, bro. She said some other book. Bro, she don't even know the book, bro. She's Googling the book. She hasn't read. She asked me about a book that she don't even know what the book is. She don't
But
remember.
those people are right. We knew there were no.
We went to war because 9/11 or that Saddam Hussein had weapons of mass destruction, then we had no conversation here.
We knew they didn't have any weapons of mass destruction. The United States knows all of the countries that have weapons of mass destruction, literally, right? You can't just go to Kroger and buy a nuclear warhead. It's either going to be scientists, engineers that created from a very, very, very small group of people. They know every single person that even can create such a thing. We're the ones that sell most of those things. They don't ever let the United States intelligentsia, as well as Israel and the Mossad, tell you they don't know a goddamn thing. Just like they claim not to know that those people were coming through the tunnels to attack that festival. But I'm gonna go back on mute.
Wait. Hold on. Let me correct the misinformation, all right? So it wasn't just Israel, because of the Union, right, he referenced, let me read the quote. Hold on. Wait, so he referenced that, well, I gotta find it now. He basically referenced that, about Iraq having, hold on, let's find it. Anyways, but he talked about in the State of the Union 2003 that they had weapons of mass destruction. Vice President Dick Cheney also said that they have weapons of mass destruction. Colin Powell, you're right about Colin Powell. He delivered a UN speech in 2003, and he was talking about using satellite images to intercept conversations to argue Iraq was hiding weapons of mass destruction. But he said he later regretted that speech. So Colin Powell said it, and then he pivoted. Do you think Colin Powell got the information from?
No, he didn't get the information from. One second, let me say this real quick. You mean Dick Cheney, VP Dick Cheney, who was with Halliburton that made billions of dollars? Because I know some people that went over there and made hella bread. They made hella bread over there. Let me finish. You didn't have to pay U.S. income tax when you went over there. Halliburton was recruiting like crazy from Houston. I know a couple of people went over there and made a couple of $100 grand. So Dick Cheney was lying. He was fleecing the government for Halliburton. And we know why he shot. I sure did, because it's capitalism. Am I complaining? You think Republican?
Wait, hold on. I'm doing this for everybody. I don't care if you're man, woman, all that have it. Alright? And I just can't do the 100 have it anymore. That's it. Because I haven't, whoever came, I'm already irritated. Because these niggas fucked them all order. I had to resend this shit back. So,
Can you make a cue? Just a quick
yes. So if anybody want to talk, just wait. You ain't got to say, all that other stuff, just wait. Alright, we can continue.
No, that's what I was saying. Oh, yes, sweetheart. Go ahead.
Yes, I'm angry.
Mommy has to repark the truck. Yeah, so do you have your key? Okay. So no, what I was going to say is Cheney is not a credible source because Dick Cheney is probably one of the most diabolical people that we've ever had in office. Like, people were terrified of that man. If you don't know his relationship with Halliburton, you need to look that up. They pretty much built the federal government for billions and billions of dollars. Remember, they had the contractors over there. They were recruiting civilians to go over there, and like you didn't have to pay U.S. income tax if you were employed overseas. So Cheney is not a good source because Halliburton made so much money during that whole damn Iraqi war. We knew damn well they didn't have.
No, you get shot. No, see, first nigga ass, you get fucked down.
No, I'm happy to talk about how I was a Republican and a conservative, right? Like, I would have rather at that time that it be the U.S. making these choices and decisions, pretty much just like now. We have always controlled the narrative, just like Lou said. We like to have the narrative out there like, oh, we're just a benevolent and kind country and we're just helping out. Y'all know the U.S. has been on some dictatorship pretty much for the last century. But how do you think we get to enjoy what it is that we enjoy? I've never backed down from that, right? I would rather it be us than them, basically, at the end of the day.
So I totally agree with that, but I just think it's weird. I know it's so smooth. He paused and hold on, let me finish saying what I'm saying. I definitely agree with what you're saying. I just think y'all politics be selective though, because if Trump were to have the same stance and do the same thing, he's a demon now. And that be the issue.
No one would ever say that. No one would ever say that.
Well, Lou, we're about to go to fucking war, aren't we?
No, we're not. Wait. If you look at it right now, right? Hold on. Wait. Let's break this down, right? So currently in the world, right, we got militarization going on in democratic cities, right, where we got federal troops coming into LA, coming into Houston, coming into Atlanta, coming into Chicago, coming into New York. These are all democratic cities, right? And there's federal troops, there's federal intervention going on in these cities, right? Now we got one of our biggest allies that damn near the 51st state of the United States, right, in Israel, and they're going to war. Now, if y'all think America's not going to get involved, y'all got to be smoking ass, right? And this is so funny though, because Trump is talking about he's a peaceful president and there's no wars under him. And it's literally finna be one of the biggest wars in a while under this motherfucker, man. Hold on. I thought we were getting, wait, hold on. The fact that Trump, we supposed to be getting money under Trump, and we really finna go into a fucking war right now.
Man, we ain't getting we're not gonna get into World War. This is
Catalyst. Can we go near the speaking engagement because it's gonna be we're gonna do a decent room, gonna run this like a real room. Let's do like 2 minutes, so let's squat, all right?
But Lou, you know in that region, America has a lot of allies, bro. Like the rest of the Middle East ain't really fucking with Iran like that. So
and I'm pro Israel because I'm pro America, all right?
Bro, Turkey don't fuck with Iran. No, Turkey don't fuck with Iran.
Hold on, real quick. Every conversation is not for everybody, all right? So, I'm assuming motherfuckers that just ad-lib and don't bring nothing to the table, right? If you just ad-lib and just try to ad-lib to people's points and don't bring nothing valid to the table, information, I'll just shoot you. It's not personal, all right? Thank you. Continue.
Can I go after Catalyst because Catalyst?
Man, listen, I've been on TikTok for the last week. Bro, they got some shit over there, bro, where niggas pay to get on stage. And they pay to remove niggas out the room, right? Why everybody get money instead of IGB, man? We ain't get no motherfucking money over here, man. We some broke ass niggas.
So
hold on, let me finish saying what I was saying, because I just looked at
Fridays, you just spoke 3 times.
I know, I didn't get to work, somebody interrupted me, bro. I didn't get to finish. Because I just looked it up to make sure, when it comes to major military power in the Middle East, Iran does not have no allies, bro. Their allies are people like those smaller countries and shit that really don't have no air force or none of that shit. Turkey don't fuck with Iran. Saudi Arabia don't fuck with Iran. Qatar don't fuck with Iran. Dubai don't fuck with Iran, brother. Like they don't. Their allies is like Hezbollah and all the little ass people. Their biggest allies is Russia and China.
I'm going to I'm about to create a shoot policy. Anybody you can shoot people for a certain amount. Yeah, I heard all the niggas get money in the other rooms, man. Somebody keeps saying Plan B getting money, man. IGB finna get some money now, alright?
So here's the issue. We gotta get this. Trump
wasn't Catalyst next.
It's on Catalyst. It's on Catalyst.
You gotta enforce the keyword. Like,
it's on Catalyst. It's on Catalyst. It's on Catalyst. Like Catalyst, though.
The reason why the United States went to Iran was none of those lies that Trump or Colin Powell pushed. What he said, it was about money and control. Completely, it was about the U.S. messed up on their intelligence. That was just that. It had nothing to do with Iraq. So they needed to create a story that says these people attacked us. So they used Valerie Plame, an operative of the CIA, to go in and investigate and find that there was yellow cake in Niger being exported to Iraq to create nukes. So when that fell out, Scooter Libby, who was Dick Cheney's right-hand person, took the blame. And when Bush left, he was not part of it. They went to Iraq to primarily, it was about oil and strategic interests. Who are the biggest oil servicing companies in the world at that time? In the United States? Halliburton. Go look up Halliburton. Halliburton was instrumental in creating what's called a new business structure that completely changed everything. It was Halliburton. It was about money. Dick Cheney, money. Period. Everything else was just noise. Just all noise. And the guy said Iran's allies, Syria, Iraq, Russia, China, and then they had a big, these militant political groups called Hezbollah. So, the fact that Israel saying they did a preemptive strike against Iraq, the United States, highly probable that it's getting involved. By the way, there are more than 2,000 up to 4,000 troops here in Los Angeles. There are more troops here
than there are deployed in Syria and the Middle East right now.
This is normal shit, and the reason why this is normal shit is because the United States has been trying to stop the proliferation of nukes in Iran for over 10 years. I mean, Obama was doing it, but when Obama was doing it, he tried to appease Iran, and now we're doing a different strategy because Iran has been stoking up proxy conflicts, just like the United States. It's a chess game. And I don't think it's going to lead to World War III because they're trying to stop it before it happens. If Iran gets nukes, then it's going to be World War III. But stopping them from getting nukes before they get it, this is just typical shit. And really, this is just the same type of narrative that's been running for the past 10 years.
Did Trump kill a chemist under his administration?
He did. He assassinated also James Bond shit. He assassinated fucking nuclear scientists. Like but it was in conjunction. It was in conjunction. And Trump did assassinate one of their scientists. So this is something that's been happening for a long time. The United States is trying to play the good cop. Now they're playing the bad cop. It's just part of the game.
Wait, before the new people go, hold on, they don't play this. It says, Israel military said that at the end of the operation, there will be no nuclear threat. Israel has targeted senior military and political officials in Iran. Israeli officials said that Iran nuclear program is an existential threat. The Associated Press reported that Israeli official has confirmed attack targeting Iranian nuclear sites. And also, Israeli officials said that Iran has enough material to make 15 nuclear bombs within days. So, I was going to play a live clip, if y'all want to. And I know y'all got this Muslim allegiance. Iran is, they're not Sunni, they're Shiite. Alright? So, Sunni speak patient.
So, bro, here's a couple things. This isn't really routine. Trump was in the Middle East last month, and if you notice something unique, he skipped over going to Israel. He didn't meet with Netanyahu. Political analysts engaged in a question, and what was said was Trump feels Netanyahu is an impediment to peace. And this was also buttressed by the U.S. working with Hamas directly to have hostages released, where they actually cut out Netanyahu. Now, as the reports are going around, Trump full-throatedly saying the U.S. is not behind this. We didn't encourage Israel to bomb Iran. As sort of incredulous as I am towards Trump, I believe him. Trump is concerned about ushering quote-unquote peace for his own self-aggrandizement. He wants a Nobel Prize, they said. Said he wanted from Ukraine and Russia to the Hamas-Israel situation. I genuinely think he wants to foster some sort of quote-unquote peace, because it's going to be great for his legacy. I don't think he's on board with Netanyahu. I believe this was a rogue move by Netanyahu. I think the Iranians are not stupid. Israel's not going to annihilate their sort of, I don't even trust their intelligence, so this notion that they're proliferating towards a nuclear, or they're trying to gain nuclear weapons. I mean, they've been saying this for 10 years, and they say, oh, they're 6 months away. They've been saying this for the last 8 years. So at what point do we, sort of doubt what the IDF and Israel intelligence are saying? So, again, this is
not about right or wrong, it's about interest, right? And what we do in the media, we'll try to create a moral compass about right or wrong, and you're falling for that right now, all right? This is about interest, all right?
No, I agree, but what I'm saying, so why didn't Trump go to Israel? That's unprecedented when he was in the Middle East. What else did he do? He had significant arms deals and other deals with Saudi Arabia, the Qataris, and so forth.
What is he doing with Columbia?
Columbia?
Right, Columbia University. Are you not aware that a few days ago, the Department of Education literally threatened to take away the accreditation of Columbia University? And do you want to know why? Because they refused. Yes. So what is Trump doing here There's no reason to go visit Netanyahu when you're literally on the phone with him every day. You know the reason that he's also going against Harvard? Because of the anti-Semitism. So
if I could finish. Oh yeah, let him go, because, hold on, Dean,
well, you said 2 minutes.
Hold on, let Dean land, and then it's on, because I want to pass it to my brother D. He's an expert in geopolitics. Okay, and then I'll pass it to Congressman John Kitover. I think he's a Republican. What's up, brother? How you doing? All right, Dean, continue.
Yeah, those things are superficial. There's no big meat on those bones. He's throwing crumbs to various constituents. When you're talking about geopolitical sort of maneuvers and the significance of that, Trump not going to Israel or meeting with Netanyahu when he did a Middle East tour, you're out of your mind if you don't think there's some significant political implications to that. Again, working directly with Hamas. Again, him literally saying, I'm in dialogue with Iran concerning some sort of nuclear deal. He wants an agreement, right? Netanyahu is operating rogue, as he does, and he's trying to throw a splinter in that, because he doesn't want an agreement with Iran. He wants a pretext to go to war with Iran and to throw the Middle East into further chaos. I landed.
All right, Mickey, you want to respond? If not, we go back to the queue.
No, I'll just respond really quickly. To say that Netanyahu does anything rogue when this man literally orchestrated the biggest save in geopolitics, because a lot of us may not remember, they were going to put his ass in jail. Netanyahu was on trial, right, for doing some icky shit. And then, surprisingly, and of course my heart goes out to all of those people that were killed, we have Hamas on the end of decades back and forth, that was somehow, when Israel controlled every single thing about Gaza, they were able to get in all of these terrible, terrible things and do a lot of harm to this festival where there were also Americans. Golly gee willikers. And somehow Netanyahu avoided the criminal trial and everything was kind of put on hold. So for you to say that Netanyahu is rogue, it's like saying that Putin is rogue. Excuse me? That man is a tactical strategist. He always has been, which is why still, after all of these centuries, the United States gives money to Israel, despite there being up-and-coming new countries in the Middle East that we could absolutely substantiate to get our information. So if you think that that man with ties to Kushner and Trump is doing anything without the full 10,000% support of the United States military, funding, Congress, and president, you have another thing coming. U.S. presidents do not attack Ivy League institutions such as Columbia because they're quote-unquote being accused of being anti-Semitic, right? Maybe that happens in your country of origin, but it's never happened in the United States. I land.
So, I'll be quick. What I'm saying to you is Trump has allegiance to Israel. He has allegiance to a Jewish constituency in this country. But he understands the red line. Netanyahu's going rogue because he's been cut out of various dealings. He doesn't like that. He wants to throw a firecracker into things. This is quite clear. We're talking about Donald J. Trump. When has he ever been bashful, not taking credit on something? Why is he literally saying the U.S. didn't support this? Why would Donald Trump say that of all people? He doesn't play politics, right? This is a man that stands on his square. Why is he denying any sort of cooperation with this? Riddle me that. I actually believe him this time. I like it.
You still think Trump is in charge making all of these decisions? The man who thought that origins was pronounced orange and didn't know what the word meant. Bless your little heart, Dean. Bless your heart.
All right, appreciate y'all. That was good. All right, D grade.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, D grade. Israel.
Give me last man.
Yes, D grade, Congress, and then Ambassador.
I think what Dean actually said has some valid points, but I will say this: presidents can say that they have no involvement, but it doesn't abstain the administration or parts of the intelligence community, assets, programs, projects from supporting or even adhering. Anthony Blinken, counter to what some people might not have known, actually served in the Biden administration and also had some affiliation and ties to the state of Israel. The Biden administration
About 10 days after 9/11, I went to the Pentagon. I saw Secretary Rumsfeld
saying the opposite in some cases.
Deputy Secretary Wolfowitz. I went.
And again, we know presidents lie, but to the point that Dean said, he has an interest that, regardless of what Netanyahu may be trying to do, he still supports Israel. But he has an interest on trying to be the president that brings about peace. I don't agree with it, but it's something that I think he's trying to do. Cutting off Netanyahu and trying to negotiate directly with Hamas, or even in some cases putting a trusted ally in Witkoff to be the mediator or conduit when it's dealing with the Russians or dealing with Hamas, with Israel, I think he is trying. Now, he is right where Bibi Netanyahu is, to some cases, an animal that is cornered and is willing to do just about anything and everything. It doesn't necessarily mean that some parts of the administration did not know. I think that this is also a little bit odd. There was a leak that came out the last couple of days and even today in the morning that the IRGC and some of the Iranian intelligence said that they obtained documents saying that Israel was helping a European country, we don't know which one just yet, or we don't know if this leak is true, obtain a nuclear weapon. That same leak also today disclosed that the head of this IAEA is in some cases affiliated with
Downstairs, just say hello to some of the people on the joint staff who used to work for me. One of the generals called me and he said, "Sir, you gotta come in, you gotta come in and talk to me." I said, "Oh, you're too busy." He said, "No, he says, you made a decision we're going to war with Iraq." This was on or about the 20th of September. I said, "We're going to war with Iraq."
That are completely
he said,
different to the mentality of Iran.
He said, "I guess they don't know what else to do." So I said, "Well, did they find some information connecting Saddam to Al Qaeda?" He said, "No. He says there's nothing new that way. They just made the decision to go to war with Iraq." He said, "I guess it's like we don't know what to do about terrorists, but we got a good military and we can take down governments." And he said, "I guess if the only tool you have is a hammer, every problem has to look like a nail." So I came back to see him a few weeks later, and by that time we were bombing in Afghanistan. I said, "Are we still going to war with Iraq?" And he said, "Oh, it's worse than that." He said, reached over his desk and picked up a piece of paper. He said, "I just got this down from upstairs from the Secretary of Defense office today." And he said, "This is a memo that describes how we're going to take out 7 countries in 5 years, starting with Iraq and then Syria, Lebanon, Libya, Somalia, Sudan, and finishing off Iran."
To the infrastructure that some of those Gulf states and monarchies have.
The truth is about the Middle East is, had there been no oil there, it would be like Africa. Nobody is threatening to intervene in Africa. The problem is the opposite. Asking for Israel to intervene and stop Saudi Arabia, and there's no punishment in the presence of control throughout the region that sparked great power involvement, whether that was the specific.
Oh, maybe he had to talk to baby.
Problematic, and I do think that Trump is.
Hold on, you go back like 30 seconds, you cut out.
30 seconds? That nigga
Like 2 seconds. Okay, sorry.
I do think what Dean said is right. Because even if you listen on some of the cables in regards to the situation with Russia and Ukraine, the Russian government is trying to give Trump a quote-unquote political win. Because they understand that's within its interest, even if it's the best of a bad deal. So to some degree, if one takes that pattern, I do trust what Dean said, which he's trying, and BB understands that, which is why, again, he's decided to go rogue. Because, again, if Iran does retaliate extensively, the United States and those other monarchies within the region will go in support with whatever retaliation that Israel and the U.S. then does there. But we have to wait and see. I don't think BB did this with Trump knowing, but it doesn't mean parts of the administration, the intelligence community, did not know. Someone always knows and supports, and we just have to wait for the information to come out.
That was good. Shout out to you. All right, shout out to my boy D. Gray, man. That's my South African brother. All right, let's pass it.
Wait, I have a quick conspiracy theory, Lou.
Wait, hold on, because I was going to get my what's crazy. So reason. So like, they've been trying to create a bill called the Anti-Semitism Awareness Act, which is a dope bill that I think Black Americans can create. So it was passed May 1st, 2024, 320 to 91 vote. It proposed to amend Title 6 of the Civil Rights Act to include the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance working definition of anti-Semitism, and which is like, so that the definition is basically like traditional anti-Semitic hatred, Holocaust denial, Jewish conspiracy theories, some form of anti-Zionism or criticism of Israel. But they want to enforce it at schools, colleges, losing federal
Doug.
right? So, and then there's a recent travel ban.
Real to the news, the United States has ordered non-essential employees to leave its embassy in the Iraqi capital, Baghdad.
Happening. Y'all think they kind of knew this was happening, was going to happen all along? That's why they kind of put these parameters in place as far as the travel ban on majority Muslim countries. But not majority Muslim countries, but the country that they put the travel ban on was majority Muslim. So do y'all think this correlates or not? So y'all think like this is this like like they knew about
Yeah, it's strategic.
That's what I'm asking. Alright, hold on, before you go, it's on Congress and then it's on Congress. How you doing?
Hey, I'm good. I'm running in Illinois. I'm a congressman-elect. The point is,
wait, you running in Illinois?
I'm running in Illinois against Darren LaHood in the 16th District, Rockford, Bloomington, Peoria.
Okay.
So the U.S. has ordered all non-essential personnel out of Baghdad from the largest embassy on the planet. As you said, these travel restrictions were put in place. And don't forget, in the U.S. now, we are deploying Marines to major U.S. cities where there could be sleeper cells. I think this is all in anticipation of Israel launching an all-out strike on their nuclear facilities. And there's going to be an escalation in violence. What do you think people do in the summer? They get violent. So it's coming, and I think that Trump is going to pull Michael Corleone, and so is Benjamin Netanyahu, and they're going to cut the head of the snake, and the head of the snake is in Iran.
Wow. Okay. That was good. That was good sight. That was good. All right, pass it to OG, and then I'll check his room, and I'm going to play all these videos, because it's some crazy shit I'm seeing right now.
I think you fully underestimate the power of divine intervention. You have to go back to the Shah of Iran and back to Jimmy Carter and his appointments during a time when there was a lot of logistical issues. Some journalists around things that we were not in favor was the Prime Minister Anwar Sadat was then rose up and killed Anwar Sadat. I think that was some alphabet stuff when they assassinated him. It was followed by Hosni Mubarak, who didn't remotely have any idea of what was to be a real peace negotiation going on. So he faded from power. When the Israelis strike Iran, it's been co-signed by the United States, etc. But on that strike, we have to understand comprehensively that Iraq, at one time, Jimmy Carter tried to land some helicopters, and they got twisted up in the dust. Multiple helicopters crashed. There was a negotiation, and they couldn't get the prisoners of war. And I think, well, at that time in the world picture, the only one they trusted to negotiate was Jesse Jackson, who went in, made an agreement to get the prisoners of war back and brought them back to America. The so-called state of Israel has never acted honorably. For instance, when Jimmy Carter appointed Andrew Young as the ambassador to the United Nations, there was a press conference, and one of the questions, what will we do in case A and case B? And he said, we haven't arrived at a decision, but whatever decision we make will be in the interest of justice and fairness for both parties, or all parties that are involved. And when he said justice and fairness, the Zionists attacked him, blew him out of office. Jimmy Carter didn't help him, we the black people didn't help him. No one could pump life back into Andrew Young as a negotiator or as an ambassador to the United Nations, specialty managing the peace agreements with the Palestinians and the Israeli at that time. And I say to you that this is not peace, this is war, and Donald Trump. You know war means warning. You just have to use reverse psychology that he used to figure out some of these things in the world picture. And I will land my plane on the fact that justice is in the midst of, and I do support my world president, President Ibrahim Traore, and he's going across the world, bringing the right aura of social political leadership. But see, we the people, if you already got the elites, those people under the protection on the surface, alphabet soup, meaning FBI, CIA type, caliber Mossad, British intelligence, those caliber people are making these things happen. That's where the wars pop off behind intelligence. I'll have my play, but those are some of the facts as I know them to be, and I still say my.
All right, let me reset the room. We're talking about Israel bombs Iran, Trump versus liberal cities. There's currently federal military intervention, National Guards being, I think 5,000 National Guards was just brought to Texas. I don't know about Chicago yet, but I know Las Vegas, and currently Los Angeles. And there's a huge protest. It's kind of funny though, because it's like coincidentally that this is going on in liberal cities. That's military intervention. So it's in LA, Chicago is liberal, Houston is liberal, Atlanta is liberal, the Democrat in New York. So yeah, and then Israel just bombed Iran. I'll play a clip real quick and then we're gonna discuss the geopolitical chess.
Breaking. Good evening, everyone. We have breaking news out of Iran at this moment. We are interrupting your regular scheduled programming because ABC News has learned that Israel has launched an attack on Iran, likely targeting Iran's nuclear sites. Tensions have been mounting in the region for several days. President Trump told reporters today that it could happen at any time. We want to go now to Selena Wang, who has the latest from the White House. Selena, what can you tell us? Well, Lindsay, earlier today I had asked President Trump about how imminent this Israeli strike on Iran's nuclear facility could be, and the president had told me that this could very well happen, adding that Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon, telling me that the U.S. would help Iran be successful in any other way in trading with the country. Now, this comes as President Trump in his second term has repeatedly stressed that Iran cannot be developing a nuclear weapon, and that it cannot have a nuclear weapon. This comes as his envoy to the Middle East, Steve Witkoff, is actually heading to Oman on Sunday. He's scheduled to have another round of nuclear talks between the U.S. and Iran. There have been several rounds so far, Lindsay, of nuclear talks, and the president has repeatedly said that he's confident that the U.S. and Iran are getting close to a deal. But just this week, the president said that he was becoming less confident. He also told me today that if there is a strike from Israel on Iran's nuclear facilities, he was concerned that this could derail their negotiations.
Oh, really?
To ask you, Selena, what could this escalation mean potentially for those peace talks? Well, again, the president, he had actually asked Netanyahu, he said last month, not to launch this sort of strike, worried that this could harm the ongoing U.S.-Iran negotiations. The president today saying that he believes this could, quote, blow up those negotiations. Now, this also comes, though, as the U.S. has already ordered some non-essential staff to leave Iraq, and also as the administration has also authorized family members of military members to leave if they want to voluntarily leave across the Middle East. The president saying that it could become a very dangerous place, and he wanted to make sure that Americans would be safe.
All right.
So may I comment on that? Because Dean was wrong as usual. First of all, he said he would leave Trump when he said he wanted peace. What I heard that say is Iran is not doing what Trump wants them to do, so he sicked Israel on them like, okay, I'm going to sick my boy over there on you to put the heat on you because you're not doing what the fuck I want to do. Okay? Did everybody else hear that? Or did everybody hear that?
He literally said his representative is going to Oman this weekend to continue negotiations with Iran. That's what the Trump administration is doing.
Wait, Trump also said, Trump also,
Thank you. That's what Trump said. You're telling me in the middle of that, he's going to sanction Netanyahu to Iran? That doesn't make any sense. Trump full-throatedly said he doesn't want Israel to do this. He wants an agreement. And I think he wants peace in the region, quote unquote, as according to him, according to Ukraine and Russia. Same with
why do you listen to Trump with his words when it's suitable for your argument, but you never take his word as valid when it's not? I'm confused on that.
Well, here's the thing. As Reagan said, trust but verify. So Trump's saying things, then I see what the boots on the ground are doing. He's holding talks. When he went to the Middle East, he was talking to the various countries, monarchs. He was
breaking news. Netanyahu was speaking. He is insinuating. Bob, play it.
We're hearing a statement from Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Let's listen to his statement from just moments ago.
Months ago, Israel launched Operation Rising Lion, a targeted military operation to roll back the Iranian threat to Israel's very survival. This operation will continue as many days as it takes to remove this threat. For decades, the tyrants of Tehran have brazenly, openly called for Israel's destruction. They backed up their genocidal rhetoric with a program to develop nuclear weapons. In recent years, Iran has produced enough highly enriched uranium for 9 atom bombs. 9. In recent months, Iran is taking steps that it has never taken before, steps to weaponize this enriched uranium. And if not stopped, Iran could produce a nuclear weapon in a very short time. It could be a year, it could be within a few months, less than a year. This is a clear and present danger to Israel's very survival. 80 years ago, the Jewish people were the victims of a Holocaust perpetrated by the Nazi regime. Today, the Jews...
Damn, look, he's still weaponizing stuff from 80 years ago, man, to justify what he's finna do to them. See, man, we gotta learn from this.
The state refuses to be a victim of a nuclear holocaust perpetrated by the Iranian regime. As Prime Minister, I've made it clear time and again, Israel will never allow those who call for our annihilation to develop the means to achieve that goal. Tonight, Israel backs those words with action. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program. Last year, Iran fired 300 ballistic missiles at Israel. Each of these missiles carries a ton of explosives and threatens the lives of hundreds of people. Soon, those missiles could carry a nuclear payload, threatening the lives not of hundreds, but of millions. Iran is gearing up to produce 10,000 of those ballistic missiles within 3 years. Now just imagine 10,000 tons of TNT landing on a country the size of New Jersey. This is an intolerable threat. It too must be stopped. Iran is now working on what it calls the new plan to destroy Israel. You see, the old plan failed. Iran and its proxies tried to encircle Israel with a ring of fire to attack us in the horrible attack of October 7th. But the people of Israel, the soldiers of Israel, rose like lions to defend our country. We crushed Hamas, we devastated Hezbollah, we hit Iranian proxies in Syria and Yemen. And when Iran directly attacked us twice last year, we struck back inside Iran itself. And in defending ourselves, we also defend others and defend our Arab neighbors. They too have suffered from Iran's campaign of chaos and carnage. Our actions against Iran's proxy Hezbollah led to the establishment of a new government in Lebanon and the collapse of Assad's murderous regime in Syria. The peoples of those two countries now have a chance for a different future, a better future. So too do the brave people of Iran. And I have a message for them. Our fight is not with you. Our fight is weapons. And Iran plans to give those weapons, nuclear weapons, to its terrorist proxies. That would make the nightmare of nuclear terrorism all too real. The increasing range.
Okay, what is going on with the emojis? Oh my goodness, that is so cute. Whatever, that sounded like Donald Trump. 50 million thousand
Wait,
percent.
hold on. I gotta kick out the room. Hold on.
Okay, this is Iran war, Israel attacks.
Wait, what the fuck?
And that was Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu giving a statement on the airstrikes that Israel has just conducted on Iran. I want to bring in CBS News Chief Foreign Affairs Correspondent Margaret Brennan. Margaret, I know that you are talking to your sources and gathering information. What have you learned so far?
Yes, we've been trying to communicate with sources here in the U.S. and overseas. What we know is what the Prime Minister just announced, that these were Israeli jets targeting its sites within Iran that he says were related to the nuclear program that Iran has claimed for so long is entirely peaceful. U.S. intelligence has been concerned about the level of highly enriched uranium that Iran had stockpiled, but had assessed that Iran had not yet decided to pursue a weapon and that it would take some time for them to do so. In his statement there, the Prime Minister said Israel's assertion is that Iran had stockpiled enough nuclear fuel for 9 weapons and that they could build one in less than a year. He did not explain why he felt tonight was the night it had to be done, that some of those targets weren't hit. I do want to point out that Secretary of State Marco Rubio has released a statement making clear the United States did not provide support in terms of offensive support to this military strike. It didn't participate in it, but Israeli officials are telling me that the U.S. Was aware.
Whoa, so somebody lying.
Thank you. I was right. Exactly. Oh my God, Donald Trump live. Okay, that's
Whoa, hold on, let's continue.
On these strikes. In the reporting of this throughout the day, it has been a back and forth as to when a potential strike could take place. What we know at this point is just what the Israeli Prime Minister has detailed. We don't know yet if this completely kills the diplomatic option that President Trump said he preferred and was sending his chief negotiator to talk to Iranian officials about this Sunday in Oman. We're waiting to hear from the administration if they think that diplomacy is in any way an option. Why would that still be necessary? Well, we don't know that Israel was able to actually take out the entire nuclear program. Iran has underground facilities that the U.S. is uniquely positioned to be able to destroy. And the U.S. has said that it would be hard for Israel to actually destroy the nuclear program without U.S. help. So this may be a damage to this program, but not destruction of it. We'll just have to wait to see what more becomes apparent in the next few hours and days in terms of assessments of the targets hit. The Prime Minister said it could last for a few days.
And President Trump is planning to hold a cabinet meeting tomorrow at the White House. I'm curious, what are you going to be watching for in that meeting?
Well, I think all of us will be chasing all details we can, just as we were when we heard yesterday there was a meeting internally in the White House to try to assess options and what the U.S. would do. One of the first indications we had that something might be happening imminently was the announcement the Pentagon made that they were advising the dependents of military personnel in the Middle East to consider leaving. And that was one of the first indications that the U.S. was concerned about blowback for the United States for its actual citizens living abroad. We have to watch what happens here, including what the fallout is in the region. Not just as strikes against the United States, perhaps in retaliation, but whether that can be avoided. And I know that diplomats in the region and the UN were concerned that carrying out a military strike against nuclear facility could have damage, fallout, and people need to learn more.
In that statement, Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said that this was all to thwart what he said was a plan from Iran to destroy Israel, another plan. Can you go into that a little bit more, what he meant by that?
Well, Prime Minister Netanyahu, as he said in a report explain this military action because it was preemptive. It did not have the support of other countries around the world. And in that statement, he argued that this was existential for Israel. His belief has long been that Iran poses a threat if they do actually get a nuclear program that could be weaponized, that it could destroy Israel. He was arguing that, but he also laid out in that